As a Stata user, it's important that you have a log file before you start your work. Go to File, click on Log, Begin. You have to give your log file a name. So I'm going to call this one Gate. The log file is a .smcl file. I click Save. So here I can see that I have my log already open for me, today's date and the time. The log file keeps a track of everything that you have done and you can easily go back to it. The next thing you do is to go to where your data file is and pull it up so that you can start working. Now my data is already in Stata domain. Let me begin. I have a time series data, so I have to t-set my data so that Stata can run time series analysis. So t-set here, I have to do that. That is done already. So I have my time series set from 1960 to 2009. Next, let me begin my work by clicking on Browse just to see what I have all set. Okay, I have my year, I have income, and I have PCE. So I have two variables I'll be working on today. The next thing to do is I may decide to generate a variable, the log of PCE. So I type gen ln PCE equals log open bracket PCE close bracket. So if you look at the variable section, the third variable is there now as log of PCE. Let me create another one. That is the log of income. ln inc equals log open bracket income. So the log of income is created. So there's nothing left to be done. I go to File to close the log. I click on Log, Close. Before I exit, it's good for me to save my file. So I'm going to use the same name I used for the log file. So my data file is titled Date. I go back to File, click on Exit, and I exit Stata. I want to begin another work again. I launch my Stata. I go back to File, I click on Log, Begin. I look for where the log file is, which is the gate file. I double click on it. Stata has three options for me. Do I want to view the log file as a read-only file? Do I want to append to the file, or do I want to overwrite? If you click overwrite, you have erased everything you've done previously on this file. If you click append, you can add new work to the existing file. If you click read only, you can only view, you cannot make any changes to the file. So because I want to add new things to the file, I always click append. So make sure you don't click overwrite unless you don't need that file anymore. But if you still need the file, always click append, then click OK. Now let me pull up my data, which is the gate file. So I have my data set all in there. Always type t-set here if it's a time series data. To do next now is to create the graph of income and PCE. So I go to graphics, I click on two-way graph, create. I just want to have a line graph between the two variables, so I click on line. My y variable in this case will be PCE. The x variable here will be income. I check this box. I want my data to be sorted on the x variable. I click accept. Next, I click OK. So this is my line graph between PCE and income. Next, I may decide to drop the two log variables that I just created. So I type drop ln PCE ln inc. I press the enter key. So the two variables are dropped. I click the save button. Overwrite the existing file, yes. So this is what I have now. So I need to close the log before existing Stata. Go to log, click close. Now the log is closed. You can see the day of when all the transactions were done and the time at which they were done. Next is for me to exit Stata. I go to File, Exit. If I need to pull up what I did from the log file, maybe I need to look for a code or something, I go back to the desktop and look for the folder where the log file is located. I double click on it, and there you see everything that you have done, all the analysis that you have done, from the time you logged in to the time you closed the first part of it, Then again, it records when you came back again and you continued on the same file. So everything I've done, from creating the log variables to having a line graph drawn to dropping the two variables I created, they are all recorded in the log file. So the log file is necessary as a researcher. If you're using Stata, it helps you to keep track of what you have done. You can always go back to the log file to check for any code or to see how your analyses were carried out. I hope this tutorial was helpful.